Sup guys, it's GG1 here, back with another video for the week. Changing up the format a little bit, granted, got a little hamstring injury, didn't feel like recording any of my workouts, and it's pretty nice outside today. I figure change your pace with the channel a little bit. This video is going to be about carb backloading. A lot of you guys already know what carb backloading is, especially if you're from any fitness board. This is just going to be about my experience with it, some tips, some shit to do, and some shit to not do. The basis of carb backloading is pretty simple. Basically what you do, you keep your calories minimal at the beginning of the day. And when you do have those minimal calories, you don't want them to have carbs, because carbs spike your insulin. That's the shit you want to stay away from. What you want to do is train in the afternoon, 5 o'clock on. After you work out, that's when you want to start getting your carbs, up to 30 minutes till, when you go to sleep. Alright, some things Kiefer tells you to do in the book. Skip breakfast. When you don't have breakfast, your body's burning calories faster than you would if you eat breakfast. When you eat breakfast, that's putting you in fat gaining mode. You're fasted, you're in fat burning mode. You don't need carbs to your workout. Whether you're training for hypertrophy or training for strength stuff, your strength levels will be unaffected by that day's carb intake, granted your glycogen stores are at. Train at night, your catabolic hormones are down, your anabolic hormones are up, and you're also stronger at night. Post-training, get only high glycemic index carbs. High GI carbs help you recover faster, and granted you have them after your workout, won't store fat. There's a ton of other stuff he says to do in the book too, like a lot of stuff that has to do with the supplements. So he says to supplement a lot with whey protein isolate, take tons of L-leucine because it's powerfully anabolic, get as much caffeine in your system as you can, and take tons of creatine. He said up to 30 grams a day or something like that. He also came up with a bunch of weird mixtures and formulas for you to figure out according to which carb backloading plan you have, because there's a strength accumulation plan and a density bulking plan. Say one, if you're trying to stay lean for a competition, you do the strength accumulation, or you're trying to do that there bulk, you use the density bulking. I'll put the links to them in the bottom of the video or whatever, so you can click and see them. I'll upload them on Imager or whatever. And keep in mind, if you're trying to say you do the plan, you probably want to do it as close to what he says, and your mileage may vary on the supplements and all that. Also, a very important thing to remember about carb backloading is it's best implemented if you work at serious volume, either you're bodybuilding or strength training. So because of that, it's not going to be good for you CrossFit fags and women. Let's face it, most of the time y'all are in the gym, y'all just doing the vagina spreader machine and going the elliptical. You don't need to backload your carbs. Now for my experience with it. First of all, what he says is when you get your carbs, your high glycemic index carbs, you don't store any of the fat. That's bullshit, let's face it. The first time I was doing it, I was on that there Dreamer bulk because I'd go to the Martins, get a big thing of donuts and eat the whole thing. Of course you store the fat. It's dumb. Thermodynamics still exists. He has a counter argument for it. I think it's BS. It didn't work for me. Basically, what you want to do is calculate, how many calories you're supposed to get in a day. Stay within that range. There's a big old chart he gives you that tells you how much fat and protein you should get when you're doing your low-calorie early day eating. That's what you should somewhat go by, at the beginning of the day. I altered mine a little bit according to how I feel. I tend to process fats pretty well, so I keep my proteins pretty much to the end of the day also. Another thing too I learned by doing carb backloading and by training at night is you are indeed fucking stronger at night. At least I am. I am up to 50% stronger at night for some reason. Up until I started doing carb backloading and working out at night, I was having on-off days somewhat all the time in the gym. Regularly, it was kind of bad. Now that I do the carb backloading, I pretty much feel amazing in the gym all the time. That fish just jumped. Another thing I can tell you from right off the bat is I feel really good doing carb backloading. I used to feel somewhat bloated, somewhat weird during the day. I didn't really, well, it's my fault, but I totally neglected to count calories all the time. Now that I'm counting calories and keeping my carbs low in the beginning of the day, I feel really good for my workouts, and I feel nice and empty. I actually very much prefer to work out fasted, so the plan definitely works for me. As I have not yet completed my cut, I can't tell you the end results of carb backloading, but this is just my initial review. That's why it's entitled Part 1. Basically, what I'm saying so far is I like a lot of Kiefer's ideas in carb backloading. A lot of it seems to make sense and will work for you if implemented properly. What I do disagree with him on is him saying that you can't store high glycemic index carbs as fat post-workout due to your insulin sensitivity. I think that's BS. You will blow the fuck up if you do that. Be very careful. I tried to keep this video nice and short for you internet fucks because I know how short your attention spans seem to be. I just made this video, you know, hopefully help out with some of you guys that are interested in doing carb backloading. I just have to say, you know, it's pretty great. Works well for me. Just don't eat fucking everything. You can store high glycemic carbs as fat. Don't do what I did. Set me back for like a month. Don't do it. Thank you guys for checking out my videos. I'll see you guys next week. I'll include in the bottom also a bunch of links that'll help you figure out what I've been doing. I have, you know, my macro ratio, some examples of some meals I've been having this past week, charts, and well, that's all you need, don't you? Hope you guys have a good weekend. Please be safe. GG1.